Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
Of Live,
Let
Thrive. What's up, Myka, man?
What's up, Stevie Stacks? Last episode of 2021. How you doing?
Doing good, man. This is the last one. It's episode 189 of your favorite Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, Lyft, Uber, hire car, all that share economy stuff in the world, and coming at you from Fort Worth and Arlington, Texas.
DF Dub, let's go.
Let's do this, man. Yeah, we're approaching to the end of the year, and we're going to talk, goals that we accomplished and goals we got coming up for the new year, and how our listeners are pushing us forward, whether we like it or not.
Facts. Yeah, I was real big on goals today, man. Goals are huge.
Yeah, you got to start off and let the audience know a big event that happened in your life, man. What happened?
Yes, sir. So Monday night, December 20th at 6:01 p.m., McKenzie artist was born. Had my first baby girl, man. It's awesome. It's awesome being a girl dad.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. It's awesome. Being a girl dad. It's different, but yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, they got your heart, don't they?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. You see a little girl, man, it's different, Definitely, for sure.
How's Mahogany doing?
She's good. She's recovering. They had to do a C-section. So she's recovering. Other than that, she's good. She's recovering, moving slow. I told her, take it easy. Whatever you got, I got you right now. I got my dad here. Her grandma's here, and then Malachi, he's running around helping as much as he can. He's happy to be a big brother. So
he loves his little sister, huh?
Yeah. That 6-year gap, it's actually kind of good because he can help a little bit more. So it's actually worked out for us.
Oh, that's cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you start off a great 2022, bringing a baby into the mix. And so goals, man. What goals did you accomplish this year that you said you were going to do, and you nailed it and you got it?
I don't have them all in front of me, but I had one. I know my goal was to read 12 books. I ended up reading 13. I'm on my 14th right now. I wanted to do 2 BRRRR deals. I did one, and then I closed on one today. So
congratulations.
I didn't finish it, but I closed on one today. So I closed on a deal today. We bought a house for $40K. We're gonna put about 50-ish into it. It'll come in at a little under 50 into it, and it'll come out to be, hopefully the ARV is about 121, so we can refinance all our money back out. So that was what we did today. We closed on that one. So nice. 2 BRRRRs. I wanted to make sure we ended up I wanted to push our business to past 7 figures. We did that. And then I wanted to, the books, do the 2 BRRRRs. I wanted to get 5,000 subscribers on Live, Let, Thrive on YouTube. We did not accomplish that, but next year I'm going to push it into full gear, get the advertising and everything going. Those are the ones I have on top of my head, man. But those are the ones I accomplished and the ones I did not accomplish. But we got another year to do it. How about yourself? Oh, and by the way, having a baby was on the goal list too. We completed it. So go ahead.
That's a big goal to accomplish right there, man.
Yeah.
The one that stands out, the big goal that stands out, and I remember at the beginning of the year when me and Federico, you were talking to me and Federico, right? At one of the podcasts, and you said, well, how many units do y'all want to have, are just rentals, and you kind of put us on the spot, and I'm like, shit, I don't know, 40, and right away you're like, okay, how are you gonna accomplish that each month? What are you gonna do to accomplish that, this and that? So I don't know. So it's funny because we put that goal of 40 units, right? And let me see, we got 42 units.
Told you, man. You write it down, it'll happen, bro. I told you, man. It'll come to you, man. It will come to you.
Tell it to the universe, man. And it just started compounding towards the end of the year, man. Because we got to midpoint, we got around 20 something units, and we kind of got it happens in business, right? You kind of get stuck. Like you grow at a certain point, and then you kind of get stuck, and then you're trying to tend to the garden while you're trying to grow more flowers, kind of thing, And we just got stuck in that middle ground, and we just, didn't put a lot of effort towards more growth because we're trying to handle all that we had, and it was just that weird middle ground. And then we kind of got everything settled and started trying to grow again. And then it just shot up, man, like the hockey stick, like they say. And it's been growing, and we got more units coming. Those are the ones we have right now that are renting out, and
Yes,
we
sir.
got more units coming. And I'm getting pretty good at filling a lot of units with travel nurses. And
Good
so
stuff.
that's and we bought our first property. See, that wasn't even on the goal list. We bought our first.
You bought one?
Yeah, the townhouse. We bought a townhouse.
Oh man, congrats! There you go.
Yeah, that was really cool, man. So our business bought us a property, So
Oh, you bought it in your business name. That's what's up, man.
Yeah. Well, I bought it under my name, but it's for the business. The business money bought it, kind of thing. So
okay. Gotcha,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So got a good interest rate on for a rental property. I was amazed, dude. A rental property, straight up rental property, 3.75. I was like, damn, dude. I was thinking it's gonna be like 5 or 6 because it's an investment property. No, man, the interest rates are freaking great right now.
Money's cheap.
They're gonna go up next year, I hear.
Yeah, they are.
As far as right now, interest rates are good. And so we got it. We own a property, plus we have like 43 units.
Let's go, man.
42 units. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a crazy end of the year, man. And now it's just compounding like crazy. We're getting back into Arlington soon. That's gonna be another unit. It's gonna be a house in Arlington.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, close to this day. We're gonna manage it. It's right down the road from the stadiums, man. It's gonna kill. And
oh man, you got to send me the address because I'll cold call your ass. I've been on a cold call list in that area, so your owner get cold called by me. So yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And so it's been moving, man. It's just like, and then it's just we're gonna have one in Michigan, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, of all places,
Damn,
and so we're
okay.
gonna manage one there. There's some units, the Skyrise, that we're gonna either get some for ourselves or other investors that want to get some. I mean, this place is pimp. So if y'all want some units there,
okay.
we got a designer there already. She was a follower of Sarah's. Sarah's TikTok's blowing up. Her TikTok and Instagram's blowing up, so people are following her. So there's a girl that followed her. Sarah introduced her to us, and we're gonna manage it for her. And so she does design too. So I mean, we already have an in. We got the units we can get, plus we got a designer ready to roll, and it's just like it keeps moving, man. It's pretty cool. Salud, man. I got a beer. You got some straight vodka.
I had to open my family's locker, man. I got another one in there for advertising purposes.
I gotta try it, man. I gotta try that stuff.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. I'm happy for you guys, dude. Y'all gonna kill it. Keep just, man. Be diligent, be humble, be hungry, and it'll come for real.
It's coming fast. I want to read something to you. And you probably heard this before. It's an old African saying. It says, "If you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far, run together."
Fact.
And I'm like, I realized that this year, man. I mean, I've always tried to do everything on my own, got to a certain point. But then when I linked up with Federico, I mean, it's just exponential growth, just like he took it to another level. And like, I know you're doing things with like Mike Brown and stuff like that. And he's another assassin. And so,
Straight up.
So that is the truest thing you could ever read, man. If you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far, run together. I like that, man.
That's a fact, man. I love that. I love that quote, man. Because our family motto that we always run with, even Malachi says that teamwork makes the dream work. That's basically our family motto, man. That's how you got to do it. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Man.
Yeah. So on your 2022 side, man, what are your goals for next year?
So you put me on the spot again.
Hey, the spot got you 42 units, dude. Let's go.
Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and say it to the universe, right? We want to buy our first apartment complex. I didn't say it's gonna be no 300 unit. It might be like a little 10 unit, but we want. That's our goal. That's our goal, is to buy our first apartment complex.
Ooh, I like that goal. I like that goal.
Yeah.
I like that goal. Go ahead.
And my thing is because the synergy, we built like a management company, so
Mhm.
we can bring investors in to help, buy this apartment complex, and then everybody can do Airbnb there or short-term rentals, whatever they want to do, and we'll be the ones to manage it for them. And
That's the play.
and our thinking is to actually have, excuse me, because Federico and his wife Gato they're gonna live here next year, right? They're in the
Mhm.
process of getting his visa and everything, and so he'd be down to actually live at whatever complex we buy. So we'll have like on-site Airbnb management and be no parties. It'd be squashed real quick. Everything would be taken care of. This place would look great. It's the biggest frustration of dealing with, doing arbitrages out of apartment complexes is they don't care that you're doing Airbnb. Hey, my guest, whatever, they don't give a shit. We'll get to it Tuesday when we can send a guy, and
Mhm.
so,
That's the problem.
so we have someone on site living there that can tackle things, right away, squash parties, don't let craziness happen, keep the premises clean. Man, that'd be straight up money maker.
Dude, I'm happy you're doing that, man. And then let me tell you why. Because I've been saying the last year, this whole year, I'm like, bro, we have to focus. And I even made this an Instagram post. I said, if you want to focus on doing arbitrage, you need to learn how to do syndication. And if you're focusing on arbitraging apartments, you need to eventually learn how to syndicate. If you focus on arbitraging houses, you need to learn how to BRRRR. So eventually you have equity. Man, I love that y'all doing that, man. And I hope the listeners are taking from what you're saying, because that's powerful shit, bro. If you learn how to syndicate a place, own it, and run the short-term rental side, there ain't no stopping you, dude. You ain't worried about the shitty management. Hell, you got your own management company. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I'm running through right now is just shitty management, dude. I'm like, man, that's what I'm like. My goal next year is to do 2 more BRRRRs, 12 wholesales, and then 12 wholesales or flips. So the one I closed on today, if the numbers work at the end of the deal, it'll be a BRRRR. But if it doesn't work, I'll just flip the property. So, because I'm all in at 71% right now. So I was like, yeah, I might be able to flip it. So,
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. Like I had I tell you before about my cousin at work. He asked me all this. He's getting really interested in short-term rentals and real estate in general. He wants to have his first rental house and stuff, and he wants to BRRRR it and all that. And I send him all the stuff that I get, articles to read and shit like that, the BRRRR book. And so he just I guess his spouse ain't 100% on board kind of thing, so he's trying to convince her that, let me do this thing. And so I guess it's her fear is taking a risk. And it's like, well, what if we buy this thing and then if you use debt to buy it and we got to pay it? What if no one rents it, or what if they destroy the place? All the same fears of everybody tells you before you buy your first rental property, right? Yeah, so and so had a rental and it got destroyed and this and that. And what if you Airbnb and it doesn't make money? We can't pay it. The thing is that a lot of people don't realize there's so many outs in real estate, right? Like you said, I mean, hey, if it doesn't profit, it doesn't, you can't find the right renters or whatever reason, you can sell it. You can sell the damn for profit, even. I'm like,
you make a good point, dude. Start with the exit strategy in mind. But go ahead.
No, it's just like they think that one property is gonna mess you up and you're gonna file bankruptcy or some crazy shit like that, right? But it's not. I mean, you're buying the house. Yes, you might. We believe in utilizing the bank's money, right? OPM to get properties for us. That's I think that's a smart thing to do. You buying a house for 20% down and they're giving you 80% to buy it, and then you're throwing a renter in there who's going to pay 100% of the note. It's a fucking beautiful thing, right? And so the thing is, there's I guess there's always risk, but I just see there's so many different things. You can rent it at long term. If it doesn't work out as Airbnb, you can rent it to travel nurses, corporate. You could just straight up sell it, man. Right now people are hungry. Everybody's calling me up, all freaking texting, calling me to buy my properties and shit. It's just it's so many buyers out there. And so it's just, I know it's hard. The first property is the hardest, right?
Yep.
So either if you're buying a house or you're doing your first arbitrage or first Airbnb, it's the hardest, but it's the most important. And you might even lose money on that first one, but that's good. You're going to learn a ton, from the school of hard knocks, as they say, right? You're going to learn everything you need to know. about from the first few properties, and then you get some traction. I mean, there's no other way around it, man. You're not gonna just go to the gym and like throw up 400 pounds on your first freaking bench press, right?
Facts. See, and I'm happy you said that because I think that's how he should explain it to his wife. He's like, hey, does he have any kids?
Yeah, they got 2 kids, boy and a girl.
2 kids. Okay, so I mean, he has kids. Okay, so even at that, like, right at the end of the day, if he explains it to her, like, look, if we fail, it's just a learning lesson for us to bounce back even harder. That's all you have to look at it. Like, look at it like that, man. Like, don't look at it if it fail, oh, we're fucked. You know what I'm saying? Look at it like, hey, it's a learning lesson. That's how you have to look at all wins and losses. It's a learning lesson. You'll learn more from a loss than a win any day of the week. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I mean, that's how you have to explain it to her, because right now, man, I'm, getting my first, that's kind of want to go back to getting my first short-term rental. I wasn't really scared of like, hey, is it this? Is it that? I was more or less like, I was so into it that I was just like, I just want a damn property. That was my hardest part, was find me the property so I could just start, that was my biggest thing. But yeah, it's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, fear, remember, success is just on the other side of fear. Straight up, man. Like, even with me leaving my job, right? I left my job November 19th, closed on a property December 23rd. You telling me that job wasn't holding me back? Fear is what was keeping me at the job. I wasn't able to close deals. I was able to run numbers on this deal, get it closed in 19, 30, 32, 33 days. I wouldn't have had that time if I was at that 9 to 5, man, in a fearful state. That's how you got to look at it. Universe going to take care of you. As my guy Thatch always says, the universe responds to your beingness. It's going to bring everything to you. You just have to be. Straight up.
Wow. So, one quick question. You left on November 19th, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the baby come, you didn't think just hang around and then get that free paternity leave? You're just gone. You're done.
My coworker asked me that. She goes, because I told her, like, I'm an engineer and I work on it's a 2-person team as far as like our team, the engineering team. And I told her, I'm like, hey, because I told her a long time ago, I was like, hey, if I ever quit, I'll let you know. You know what I mean? I'll be straight up with you. I'll let you know before I put my 2 weeks in. And I told her, like, hey, I'll put my 2 weeks in. She already knew Mahogany was pregnant. She was like, you don't want to wait around until December and just get paid, and get paid? I'm like, no, not really. I was like, nah, I had to like go for it. Because think about it, if I would have waited until November, would I have closed that deal?
Probably not.
I wouldn't have had the time. So it's like, and plus you always look at it like this. Is that just something to hold you back? Like, I can get paid. Nah, forget it, man. You know how to make money over here. Go ahead and go all in on it.
Yeah, there'll always be a carrot to dangle in front of you, right? To keep you in the corporate world or whatever.
Exactly. And I felt like that would be a cop-out for me. It'd just be a cop-out. I'm happy you brought that up because that's a really good question, man. You just got to go all in. Like, Mahogany said this to me the day I was about to put my 2 weeks in. She goes, if we just literally make this a tunnel vision, like this is the only way out, we'll make it through. You just have to look at it. This is the real estate's now the only way out. We'll make it through. You'll have to make it. So that's how I'm looking at it.
Burn the ships.
Yeah, burn the ships. It's the only way, bro. That's how you got to look at it, man.
I'll do a little change of pace before something funny happened, man. And we like to keep it real and say funny shit on the show, right? Let me pull this up, man. I was so I was working my butt off to get this 2-2 unit in Dallas that we manage. The thing is, like, we took over 2 units. One was a 2-2 in Dallas that was really nice. It was a friend of Sarah's and everything, and so but the thing is, they no longer let her Airbnb it, right? Yeah. She said, well, can y'all are good at putting corporate renters and travel nurses and stuff like that. We'll see what we can do, and so we had that one, and she had like a 1-bedroom, 1-bath that we that was more, it was easier to fill that one. But the 2-2 was just, I was like trying to get these travel nurses in there. I got one, it was making $3,500 a month. So we agreed to put corporate in there for 10%, so we were making $350 a month off this thing, doing hardly nothing, right? And so but to take it to the end of the lease, which is coming up in a few months, we were hustling. I was hitting all the lines, and then I finally found 2 travel nurses to get in there and stay. Anyways, long story short, I talked to this one and I don't know say her name or nothing. We keep it real on the show. And she sounded a little. It was funny, right? She sounded a little flirty on the phone with me, right?
Yeah.
And whatever, I'm just being nice. I'm just being a whatever genuine dude, and they agreed to rent the place for me, whatever, this and that. But I got that vibe. You got that vibe when you're getting flirted on, right?
Yeah.
And of course you get the full name, and if it's a unique name, you can go to Facebook and kind of find them pretty easy, right? And she was a big sister, and it's, and so, anyways, something happened. She got there before her friend did, right? So she got there the first night, and she's like, "Hey, some things are wrong here. You need to maybe you need to come over here and see what's going on." And I guess a couple of events had a little bit of mold, right? A little mold.
Yeah.
And for the people, the previous tenants were there for 3 months, so it needed a deep clean. And I told the owner, the arbitrager, I said I needed, we could try to get a deep clean in there, but it was the same day and it was already getting late. So I said, you know what, you could stay, you could stay at one of our other spots this night until the cleaners can get in there this evening and do their thing and whatever. So she went to one of our other spots, right? One of our other places over in Dallas, and she started saying some like flirty stuff on the text messages, right? And this is the funny part, because I was just whatever, laughing things off, and she said something like, well, he goes, I got some wine tonight, but I'd really like something else, and I'm eating dinner with my family, right? And I didn't see this message come through. A very suggestive message, right? After this flirty tone, I guess I have to settle for wine, but I'd really like something else. And so I'm over here. My daughter is in her high chair, right? Beside me, and I have my Apple Watch on, and she likes to grab my Apple Watch, start playing with the screen, and whatever. She's my 2-year-old, and I'm eating, and so I'm done eating, and I grab my phone. I start checking the messages, and I'm like, okay, this is a weird message. I say, wait a minute, I didn't respond to this, and so my daughter hit an auto response, right? And the auto response was on my way. It's right after the message of her saying, all I got is wine, but I'd really had like something else. And I put on my way, and underneath she goes, oh, I didn't know you offered that service, LOL. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I started texting her. I was like, no, my daughter got my Apple Watch. She hit the freaking auto response. I'm so sorry.
Oh man.
I was like, man, I almost accidentally pimped myself out.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, I got
which brings us to a good topic. Full service Airbnb for your guests. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Don't ever do that, people. Don't ever do that. That's against the law. Good. Don't go service your guests.
Wow, bro. That's hilarious.
I mean, of all the auto responses she could push, she pushed on my way. I mean, that was just man. One of those funny moments. I had to just bring it up on the show.
Hey, the life of hosting, man. It's what happens. The life of hosting.
Man, any craziness going on in your hosting world?
Oh man, I got a nutbag guest. Well, he's not crazy. Our cleaning team, they didn't drop the ball. You know how one of the cleaning staffs, they're trying to hire someone else on to their team, and they test run them, and they didn't do a good job. So like, I'm dealing with this guest, and he's like, this place is unacceptable. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm gonna refund you the cleaning fee. Next morning, I asked him, hey, is everything going good? He said, hey, it's still shitty. So we were like, look, we'll go ahead and refund the rest of your stay. I was like, hey, I'll refund you the rest of your stay so my team can get in there. He's like, I don't want the rest of my stay. I just want you to give me 50% of the whole stay, right? And stay the remaining of the days. So I'm like, hold on, you're saying you don't want to be there. You're saying the place sucks. I'm like, why don't you just, He's
leave.
Like, no, yeah, leave. Basically, he's like, no, I don't want to leave. We have the right to be here. So I'm like, and then so he goes, so I'm like, okay, are you gonna take the cleaning fee? He's like, okay, fine, I'll take the cleaning fee. few hours later, man, we get this request for like $700, right? So I'm
Oh
like,
my
what the
God.
hell? So I asked him, I'm like, hey, so are you gonna leave? I'm like, hey, I'll give you $700 if you want to leave. You can leave. He's like, no. I want half this. I want half the stay back. He's only for like 4 or 5 days. It's Christmas time, so prices are inflated. So I'm like, dude, I'll accept it if you leave. You know what I'm saying? So we can go ahead and get our cleaning guests in there. He goes, no, you need to just refund me half the stay. I'm like, okay, dude. I'm like, I'll give you till, I think I said, I'll give you till 1:30 to decide. You either take the cleaning for your stay or you leave. I'll give you your money back and you leave. He keeps going in. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to show Airbnb how dirty and unsafe this place is. Now, mind you, I'm like, okay, it's unsafe. Why do you want to be there? I'll pay for you to leave. Still going in. By the way, before he said the place was dirty, he was there for like 5 hours. Now, check this out. Within the 5 hours he was there, it was a 2-night stay. He extended it to a 6-night stay. Then he complained about the place being dirty. So I was really, check it out. I was being generous with this dude. I was generous with him by giving him the cleaning fee back. I felt it was bullshit, but he did take pictures and stuff where we could have done better. And I took it to heart. I'm like, okay, bet we can do better. I'm like, hey, we'll go ahead and refund the cleaning fee. We did that. Then he still wants more money. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm dealing with a money grabber here. I'm like, I think this dude I think he just wants some cash. I don't know what he's going through, but so he's still there. I'm like, look, I declined it. I said, look, if you want to, I'll give you the 700. Just leave, and we can get our team there to clean it. So he's still there. I mean, he's not saying anything now, but yeah, dude, deal with those type of guests. So, like, if a place is unsafe, why would you extend it? Why do you want to stay there? What's your issue? And the stuff he took pictures of, I think he might have planned this shit. I don't know, but it just, okay.
We get those all the time, man. I mean, like, you having like over 40 units. We get it's guests, they don't want a refund and leave. They never want that. They just want, like you said, a huge request for money. One guy was complaining about the mattress or this and that, and it was an older mattress, right? It was a place. It came with the place, so it was one of the places we took over. It has fully furnished, looked great and everything. And they were renting it. They were renting this place out for a month, right? Yeah. And so, anyways, I guess in a few days into the stay, they weren't being very responsive. But the wife took the sheets off to wash, right, during the stay, and the older mattress had a few stains on it, right? And so, which we learned a lesson there. We take over property. Be sure to check everything thoroughly. The mattress. It was a comfortable mattress, but it's we can't do that. So that we dropped the ball there. Whatever, we offered them. Okay, we can. We're ordering a mattress now. It'll be there tomorrow. We'll install it and everything, and so sorry about that and this and that. He just wanted to complain. Yeah. And then I was like, well, y'all are welcome to leave, it's fine, and we'll just refund you the rest of your stay. If you don't want to be there, if it's such a hurting your soul, get the fuck out of there. And so one of those episodes, we're having some drinks tonight, man. Fuck it. Sorry, soccer moms. You should have covered your kids' ears, and I should have warned you. But anyways, so he finally comes. He didn't, after not saying nothing to my, not responding. He's like, I want $1,000 off my stay, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna lose money if you give you $1,000. We're not gonna make any money this month if we give you $1,000 off your stay. Y'all can leave, or just stay there and whatever. And so that's not the answer they want to hear. They want the $1,000. They want the half off the stay. They want whatever the fuck, right? And so, but it's we try to handle them with kids' gloves, but still, there's some people that are just assholes. I just don't, Yeah. If people, me and you, we're reasonable. We go somewhere, there's some, we bring it up if it's a big issue, and give them a chance to fix it, right? Yeah. You give them a chance to fix it, and so but there's just some people that are just like that, man, and we've come across a few of them, and then there's some we've offered to leave too, or we'll refund the cleaning, and then they put up a big fit, and then they end up staying. It's just like
I don't ever get it. Like, leave. Like, I don't get that. Like, what if it's like you're saying this place is unsafe and you have kids, and I'm saying I'll give you money. I don't get that, man. Some people, like you said, it's the problem with them, not us. They want to be there clearly, so I don't know, man. You get those type of guests, man. But yeah, I have a question for you. How do you handle the hours of your VA? This is one that came up in my mastermind group. Go ahead.
Federico, he handles the VA, right? He's the one doing that. And he did recently after after kind of like saying, what are you doing for these, 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever, trying to get a gauge, what have you been doing? And the guy said, well, I answered the messages and I did this. And he kind of, I guess the guy sensed Federico's question. There was a bit of a downtime. Maybe you can give me some stuff to do during that downtime. And so Federico, that day he went and got this app where you keep track of their hours. So he started using that. So I don't know if that's what the question you were talking about.
I was like, more or less like, what hours do you give them, right? You having them like on call 24/7, and then like, how much is that hitting you for?
We're not doing the on call 24/7. He's working the night shift, our night shift. In the Philippines, I'll be their daytime. So actually, Carolina, Federico's wife, she handles the day shift now. And then after that, afternoons, Federico handles the like afternoon shift, and then after he gets off work, and then he passes it on to the VA to do the night shift. So overnights, yeah.
That's a good way to do it. Okay.
It's working.
It works. Yeah, because we were talking about that in our mastermind. We were like, dude, how would you, because I've had VAs before, but I had them working like Monday through Friday. But now that I'm off work, I'd rather them work like hours where I'm with my family. So the weekends, I'd rather them work that.
Ours gets Tuesday, Wednesday off, I believe.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
which is traditionally the slowest days in short-term rental. And
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
that's what I was wondering. I was trying to figure out, and that's what I need to like get the KPI on. Is like what days are the busiest days? I know Sundays are busy, and then Wednesdays. Well, if you do morning updates on Wednesdays, they get really busy because that's when people start looking for weekend stays. So yeah, I know Sundays and Wednesdays from my side were busy. So yeah, that's what I was kind of looking at.
Yeah. So and plus it's important to have him working weekends to monitor the cameras at night.
Oh, he's doing camera monitoring too.
He's monitoring the cameras too. Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure there's no partying going on.
Are you guys using Minut systems? Minut systems?
Some spots we have them. Some spots we have them. Other spots, not really.
That Minut system actually stopped us from getting an eviction.
What?
Let me actually tell you about this. But we're probably going to get a lawyer for this situation. Let me tell you what happened. So this guy stayed. It was a matter of two stays. This guy stayed for like a week. He was a doctor, right? He stayed for like a week. It was him, his wife, his two kids. One was a toddler. One was an infant, newborn. Our Minut was going crazy the whole first day of their stay, the first night, right? Going crazy.
Shit.
I'm like, are these people having a fucking party or what, right? So we have it set up to it, so it sends a message to them before anything. So it sends a message out. They don't respond. Then it sends another one out. Then we get a response, right? And I check the cameras, and it's actually, it's this guy, his wife, and his kids, right? So we get a response, and he's like, oh man, I have a wife, I have a kid. The next morning, the complex hits us up, and they said, we're going to give you a lease violation for the noise. And I'm like, oh man, I'm well aware. I'm like, hey, here's the noise levels. I'm like, yeah, it was a wife, kid, whatever. Fine. Everything goes by. Next guest comes in. We're monitoring the noise levels. Nothing goes on. We get another email. We're going to send you a second violation. This time I'm like, okay, hold on. Where's the noise coming from? What time is it? She goes, oh, the neighbor said it was this morning, right? So I'm like, okay. So I just did a courtesy. I said, hit the guest. I'm like, hey, management's complaining about noise. Just keep it down if you can. And of course they respond back like, dude, nothing's going on. We're not doing anything. I'm like, I understand, but we have a complaint. I'm like, I'm going to handle it, right? So they were cool with it. They're like, okay, cool, So I send the management my Minut system. I send them my cameras to show the people coming in. I'm like, this is who's there. I'm like, there's no parties going on. There's no noise. They're like, well, they made several complaints. I'm like, when was the last complaint? She goes, about a week ago. I pull up the Minut system, the whole chart for the last month of December, nothing, except for the days that which is December 7th and 8th, the days that they complained about. And I was like, yeah, here's the one complaint that it went over. And then I sent them the dB levels that we monitored. I'm like, anything over 75 dB which is the sound of a vacuum cleaner, we get alerted, and the guest gets alerted too. So then I asked, okay, so what are you guys going to do about this? So the manager came back, they're like, oh man. I'm like, okay, you've provided your evidence. So they said, we're going back to the guest, not to the guest, but to the neighbor, and asking them to provide video evidence of them being parties. Haven't heard back since. So I knew they're full of shit. Now, but the guests who I told, hey, they're having parties too, what Mahogany thinks is, and I think it might be true, I think the neighbor wants out of his lease. So my guest was saying, yeah, the dude downstairs keeps banging on the floor. And he goes, we're not making any noise. And I'm like, that might be what it is. So we're waiting to hear back from their side to see if they have any evidence, which I don't think they do, because we provided all of ours. So she's like, we'll let you know. We're real cool with this lady. I'm like, dude, we've been here a while. We don't have wild parties, and if we do, he gets allergic. So yeah, man, those minute systems, especially if you're at like in a complex, they can save your life. They can be a lifeline for you.
Man, that is cool. Yeah, I never even thought of it like as being evidence to keep you from getting evicted. That's cool, man.
Yeah,
I always thought it was just, it's just gonna alert you for a party, and then you're gonna send your whoever to go stop the party.
And that's the cool part. It can alert you, and you can set it up so you put their phone number in it. It alerts them if they're being loud. Yeah, so it's been life changing. But one big thing: if you're on houses and apartments, make sure to change the levels on it if you're on a house and not an apartment, because I got in trouble on a review from a guest because it kept going off because they were being loud, but there's only like 6 people in there. But I'm happy it did go off, because when I checked the cameras, those assholes that covered my back camera. So I was like, hold up. So yeah.
That's a violation.
Yeah, it was a violation. So I'm happy it did go off, but I do need to monitor because other people were just cooking, get alerts. So I got to change that up on that one.
Yeah, good advice, man. What was that thing we said we were going to talk about on the show? We're talking. Oh, the proper insurance. You told me to bring the proper insurance thing up on the show.
Oh yeah, the estimated loss of income, right?
Yeah, how do you calculate for estimated loss of income when proper insurance asks you? They ask you for 24. In other words, they're asking in 24 months, how much money do you think you'll make, right? And so the formula I asked you, I was like, well, I guess, let me see. I'm assuming it's something like this: average night stay, times 20 days, because you're not going to say, you ain't trying to get 100% booked, because that means your prices are too low, right? So good 20 days. I think if you get 20 days booked, that's a good average. At your average nightly stay of whatever, I don't know, 150, 200, whatever you're doing. And then you multiply that by 24, right?
Yep.
And I think, and then that's 24 months of income. So that's what I said. Does this sound right? And you said, yeah, but then you said something about factoring the furniture.
Yeah. I said what you could do is to add on top of that, you could add your furniture as a loss of income, like if you have to replace it. So if you were to actually go through all your furniture, add it all up, and that's like, and I think they already have that in there, but you could put that in there as well, like how much furniture you got in there, and add that as a loss of income in case something breaks. So
okay,
yeah, there's multiple ways to look at that, man. That's a good question. That's actually, guests, if y'all are listening, send an email on that one, because I'd like to hear how y'all are setting that up.
Right. Here's one thing that we ran into with proper, because at one of our units at whatever apartments, I didn't say the name. So our friends got a place there, and got 2 places there actually. We're managing for them. What happened? The flooring and like where the living room goes into the bathroom started like giving out, started dropping down, right? And so of course we couldn't put any guests in there, right? And so she asked the part for the minimum. They at least didn't charge her for the days we couldn't really use the place, because they had to go in there. They couldn't just send a maintenance team. They had to go send professionals to go out there and rip out the floor, fix it, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so my friend Marty, who we're managing for, she tried to do a claim with proper, because we're this is like a couple weeks, we can't rent it out, right? So we're missing Airbnb income, even though she don't have to pay the rent for whatever. They wanted us to send a cause of the problem. We can't just say, well, it's a problem. Okay, well, there's this floor sinking in. Okay, we need what's the cause? What's the professional opinion, the cause of the problem? And we told AN, hey, could you just tell them, it's moisture or whatever the hell, there was a leak, and they were hesitant to say anything. Now, here's the thing:
Wait a minute. Go back. The complex was hesitant to say something.
Complex did not want us to give a cause, and to me, I'm thinking it's smart on their end as to protecting their ass, right? Yeah. So they're trying to protect their ass. They're not going to give us any information of the cause of it. Don't worry about it. We're sending someone. They're going to fix it, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, so if proper doesn't get what caused this situation, they're not going to give you no money. And so if you're dealing in an apartment complex, you might be shit out of luck because they're not going to try to give you a cause of this. Hey, we're fixing the problem. Fuck off. They're not going to try to, say, hey, there's a leak or there's a mold or there's this, something that can get them in trouble. So you're dealing with three different, factors here, man.
That's been my issue with proper, man. Well, okay, proper is they're going to cover their ass, right? Because they ain't trying to just cough up no money, whatever, That's been my issue with them. They're very quick to throw some shit at you like, oh, we need this, which is okay, cool. So if it was a cause at a house you own, you can get a dude out there, take a look, write up a quote, you're good to go. That is one thing I have a concern about with proper and places that you arbitrage at. Because this summer I had the same issue. Remember, I had an AC unit go out. And I'm like, okay, the AC unit's out at this complex. I called up proper. They were like, oh, well, we can't do anything about it. That's part of their structure. I'm like, the fuck? So I'm like, okay.
What are we paying you for, motherfucker?
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, okay, what are we paying these people for, man? Kind of makes me go back to that President Leo episode when he said the biggest scam in America is insurance. I'm like, yeah, this definitely is. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay. So he goes, yeah, it's part of the apartment complex structure. I can't pay you for a loss of income. So right now I'm fresh out of luck. And then another issue I have with proper, well, this is an issue I have to see if I'm going to file the claim, finish with the claim. So, I had some crazy ass guests at one of my units. By the way, this is one thing I want you guys to look out for when you're, make sure you collect IDs. I know that's one that some people don't do, but I do heavily now. People are booking your place and actually, especially apartments, they'll book your place and re-rent it, especially if they're doing monthly stays. Watch those monthly stays.
Shit.
Yeah, I've had it happen twice now. Once in Houston, once in Dallas. People are rebooking, and most of the people who do it, they already have somebody coming in that's gonna pay a higher rate.
Oh my God.
Usually they have contractors already coming in, and they'll pay them a higher rate to stay in your place. So one lady was renting out my place. They broke all the beds. We had to get the beds replaced. So my place was down for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. I hit up proper and they were like, well, you have to pay us $1,000, deductibles $1,000. I was like, okay, I understand that. So we would have lost, I don't know how much, but then I'm also have a claim open with Airbnb as well. So then I'm seeing if Airbnb is going to pay me out, and then I'm also going to file one with proper, but I'm going to try to see how much I'm going to use the Airbnb money if I get it to file a claim with proper. So then I get, kind of double up on it if I can. So yeah, man, insurance is go ahead.
That makes sense.
Yeah, insurance is a huge play in the short-term rental space, and I think it's overlooked. But I do think in arbitraging, it is a different type of animal, man, because you don't own the property. So proper can really play it like, well, go get certain information because they know if you arbitrage, you probably ain't going to get that information.
No. And the apartment companies don't want to give you no information.
And it's probably in their lease that they don't have to.
It might be. And like, for example, with that floor, well, maybe someone was jumping up and down on that floor a lot, kind of saying like it's our fault the floor's caving in. It's if they and what can we prove? We're not there. We can't prove shit. Yep. So we'd have to talk to their contractor, which they're not gonna give us their contractor's information, right? So it's they're not dying to try to prove that they're at fault for anything. And so if they can't, if proper doesn't figure out who's at fault or what's causing the issue, then they can say no, we don't have to pay it. And that's the insurance. That's every insurance company on the face of the planet since the beginning of time. Is they say no until you wear the motherfuckers down, and then they'll go away, right? Until you have to pay them out. I mean, it's their business model. That's why they have the biggest buildings in New York and LA. They have the biggest buildings as the insurance buildings, right?
Facts. You know,
And
so
so,
I hope everyone took that in because, man, yeah, proper. You got to be, if you own it, it's way easier. I'll tell you that all day. If you own it, it's way easier. And it's good thing about it is if you have home warranty, proper, and another layer of a homeowner's insurance, it works. It works it works beautifully.
home
So,
shield all day.
heck yeah, man! I start paying that platinum package, man. 24 hours, they're out there.
Oh, how much does that cost?
It is 70 something a month, but for them to come out if something's broke is 125. But I'd rather pay the 125 if something. If I have a whole AC go out, something's wrong, they'll come fix it for 125 in 24 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up a top. Is there a topic you wanted to talk about today, particular? Because I have a bunch here.
Oh, go ahead, man. You got it.
Let me bring up a topic, the Omicron, right? And then I'm gonna let you talk on it for a minute.
Omicron, I don't know what the hell it is. I mean, I know it's a variant, but I do think that the Omicron variant is. I don't know how it's affecting travel. I don't know if it's going to attract travel in a good way or a bad way. It seems right now it's probably going to affect it in a bad way because people right now are, what do they call it, panic traveling. Huge travel heads are going out right now in December and January, New Year's, Christmas. I don't know where that's going to put us. I would say for the new year, we may have to start looking at those travelers who are looking at staycations and workcations. And then also on the other side, you have to realize we have that $1 trillion builders, I forget what it's called, the architecture bill that's coming in. So, I mean, I think travel, I would say it like this: don't depend upon travel. Depend upon more of the traveling worker, and most of those travel workers, they actually drive. So I have a friend who, her husband's a traveling worker, and he actually drives to all his assignments. When I used to have traveling workers up in Arkansas, most of them would drive from like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and they'd have all their buddies with them, and they come in that way. But yeah, Omicron, I don't know what the full effect on that is. I don't even know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't hurt us too bad. But that's where I am with Omicron. Yeah, I was saying, I really think don't depend upon the traveler that needs to travel by air. That's also a market thing. So like Houston, most people need to travel by air. If you focus on the people, that infrastructure bill that just got passed, you focus on the people that are, I really want to focus on traveling professionals. They're staying longer anyway. So I think that's what you really need to focus on.
It's funny to me, and then not to get political or nothing, right? But we always kind of do on this show. But okay, CDC, we bring up the CDC. They wanted to shut down everything, every corner, every time. They're really, fucking Trump hard as they could, right? And now, like the Omicron, okay, we kind of slowed down travel from South Africa, whatever. And then and now this is the CDC saying, hey man, it seems like the Omicron's here anyways, and from people from other countries are bringing it, so we can start opening up travel from South Africa again. It's like, man, they would never do that for Trump, but I just thought that was some funny shit. CDC, they're cool with it now. They're not going to close anything down again. But the funny thing is the NFL started having to shuffle games around, cancellations, this and that. They just decided, fuck it, we're not testing no more. We're done with testing. And they were testing every single Monday, right? They were testing every single Monday, and people were with this Omicron thing coming in, which gives practically no symptoms, or you get like the sniffles, or it's really weak. Even the CDC said it was a weaker version, and so these guys, it's spreading. Yeah, it's fast, but it's like the fucking cold, if that, And a lot of these, superior athletes, they don't get sick anyways, but they're getting these negative tests. And so the NFL said, you know what, we're just not going to test anymore unless you come to us and say you have symptoms. So in other words, who's gonna miss a game check for some sniffles, right? And they so NFL, I applaud them. They're the first, league. All the other ones, oh crap, we got to shut down again, this and that. They're the first league to say, man, I'm calling bullshit. We're not gonna test no more. These guys, if they're sick, they'll tell us.
I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen now with this whole COVID thing. It just sounds like they keep coming out with these new variants every week, you know, and it's like, okay, if it's just going to keep mutating or whatever it is, man.
They told us that in the beginning. We're gonna have variants. It's gonna be mutations,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, what do? I mean, do you just stop the whole economy again? How do you want to play this, you know?
And that's why you gotta be a resilient host. You can't just rely 100% on Airbnb. You can't rely 100% on whatever, long term, short term, midterm. You got to be able to have a lot of tools in your tool belt. And so I had a talk with Federico. I was like, I know we get a lot of money from the Airbnb side, but with this Omicron thing, whether you like it or not, it's going to change things. So it might restrict travel, might restrict, there's to be restrictions. There'll be a lot of people with positive tests that can't get on planes, blah, 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 whatever.
Airbnb might cancel all your shit.
Exactly. I said, what we might want to do is even, you said, oh, we'll take a travel nurse here, but only at $3,500 a month. Well, we might just drop that sum just to start filling up our places with travel nurses right now, just to get us through this. Because if people are catching Omicron like crazy right now, whatever the new variant is, it'll be gone in a month or so. So if you feel it, if this is, my advice, it's a Federico was, we should just, even if we take a lower rate, let's just fill up all of our places. Because if you see the list on Furnish Finder of travel nurses, man, that shit is fucking long. It's like the Dead Sea Scrolls, man. It's long. Furnish Finders.
To what city?
To here. It's a shitload of them, man.
Am I missing it?
Yeah, that's one thing. Well, look at the unmatched. On the unmatched, that's where the shitload of them are.
Hey, I ain't got that many on unmatched, man.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so anyways, I told him, let's just fill up and we I'm getting pretty good at finding travelers. Let's just fill them up, even if we have to give them a discounted rate, just to get us through this next little thing, just to stay ahead of it, And that's how you doing a little CEO thinking, kind of steer the ship in the right direction. And so he was thinking it's a good idea. So we're trying to fill a lot of our, spots with travel nurses right now, just to get through this next thing. And then come spring, summer, everything's going to be back to, going, gangbusters again. So you just gotta, you can't just rely on one thing doing this.
Smart move, man. I mean, you got to get ahead of it. I don't know how Omicron's going to affect us either. But I don't know. Have you heard of you've heard of Airbnb. I'm really interested in their model and how they're setting things up. So that's why I'm kind of like leaning towards, hey man, reaching out to these professionals and getting in like that. Cause I'm like, dang, dude, that's a smart idea to go ahead and start talking to these people who provide housing. You know what I mean? Who need housing for their employees. I've been thinking about that as well. So I think doing the travel nurse thing, that's a beautiful idea. Getting ahead of it.
There's a lot of them, man, and it's I've never even heard of travel nurses before doing Airbnb. I've never heard of that in my life, but apparently it's this very lucrative thing that a lot of young nurses and older ones too are opting to do because it pays big bucks. Man, and I talked to these nurses and I was like, what did I say? I was like, well, I know you want to look for something. This is the thing. I'll check out the unmatched leads and stuff. And so I know you want to only want to spend $1,600 a month. This place is $2,500. You got to understand rents in Dallas are pretty high. I mean, you can't even rent a place unfurnished. You paying all the bills for $1,600 a month now. It's impossible kind of thing. And she goes, yeah, I know we should pay more for it. And you can convince a lot of them to pay your rate. You just got to talk to them and give them, be real. And so a lot of them say, what's the, he goes, I was talking about, I guess it brought up salaries. I said, I read that somewhere that they get paid pretty well, the travel nurses. He goes, yeah, we get paid well. But the problem is we're leaving houses behind that we're still paying on. And we're leaving, apartments behind that we're still paying on. So we got to pay that, and we got to pay for the place we're going to stay when we get there. That's why we're not trying to spend a lot of money. It's not that they're just trying to be cheap, but they have a full mortgage to pay when they're at home. They can't just stop paying their mortgage. You know what I'm saying? And so I understand that. And I would talk to one of them. I was like, what have you ever thought about renting your place where, we're at back home on short-term rental, Airbnb or even to other travel nurses? And they're like, wow, I could do that. I was like, well, it depends on, the laws in your city, but yeah, I said, if you ever think about it, let me know. We manage, short-term rentals for people. So we could actually manage you. Wow, that's a great idea. I never thought of that. And so that's a huge industry. These travel nurses are leaving full apartments behind. They're leaving full houses behind. That could be making them money.
Man, you might mess around and make them make a travel nurse home swap, man. You'll ruin the business teaching them that. I ain't gonna lie, that is a good idea. Travel nurse home swap. I mean, you're not home. I mean, yeah, right. That's actually a good idea that you talked to them about.
All right, I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy that right now before this episode airs. Travel nurse
home swap.
Home swap.
Yeah. I remember, who was it? Brian Payne, the CEO of Furnish Finder. He said that as well. Another thing about Texas too, travel nurses get paid a lot, but if you actually look at the states, Texas is like the second to last where they get paid the least. Yeah, so but on the flip side, I know another market, and I'll go ahead and say it, Nashville, Tennessee, they're one of the top 5 markets, so they're willing to pay the extra cost because, hey, we'll go ahead and, hey, we'll pay you. You're getting paid more. You can afford your newly place rented out and your place. Yeah. Just Google it. If you get on Glassdoor, find out, hey, where do travel nurses get paid the most? If you start setting up shop in those cities, they'll pay that extra. But I noticed, I looked, I was like, damn, Texas is second to last. That ain't no good, so for real, yeah. So what it is it teaches you kind of have to look at it from their perspective. They don't get paid like those other ones, so.
Right. It's funny you should bring up Nashville. And because I'll get comments every now and then from friends or people that read an article about Airbnb. They want to try to jump in. They're thinking of jumping into it. Of course, most of them never jump into it, right? But my friends at work, and oh man, the Smoky Mountains is beautiful. You should get a place there. Or if I'm gonna get a place, I'm gonna get a place there because this and that, and and I was like, it's funny because when we started this podcast 5 years ago, 5 years ago, we had a guest, an early guest. They were doing it in the Smoky Mountains, and they
Carl.
Yeah, they're buying up these condos. I mean, there's cabins for $80,000, and I was like, yeah, it's you can't get the $80,000 what's it called, cabin anymore. I said that people found out about it, and now those $80,000 ones are probably $300,000 or $400,000. It was a time that you're thinking you have a good idea right now, but 5 years ago they told us, and I even told Myka, man, we should get a cabin over there.
Man, if I knew, I would have taken you up on that if I knew what I knew now. Speaking of Lucas Carl, his wife will be on 2022. She's one of our first 10 guests, Avery Carl. By the way, she has a book out. I'm going to let her promote it when she gets on, but they're killing it over there. And what they did was, not only are they buying cabins, they now teach people how to get into the Smoky Mountains and sell them the condos and manage it for them. So what I will say is, the one thing I love about the Smokies right now, the price is inflated for sure. The price is inflated, but it's still a vacation rental market. But I think the beautiful part about it is, with how travel changes and you still have these remote workers, it's a nonstop flow of cash over there, man. Just nonstop. I'm hearing people, man, 6 figures off one door. I'm like, damn, bro, if I would have got in 5 years ago. But you can still get in now, but it's damn, back then. Because I remember when Lucas first came on, I think they had 5 cabins there. They were
he was snapping them up.
Yeah, he had 5 of them up there. Yeah, man. If we would have, I should have died. I missed that one. I missed that train, dude. I was like, damn. But yeah, the Smokies, I kept saying, I've been saying this whole year, I think just the vacation rental market in general has changed just because of the different type of travelers that are coming. You don't have to now depend on that certain type of traveler that season, or I think the seasonality's changed. So Smokies, anywhere in vacation rentals, Joshua Tree, California, Big Bear Lake, those places, I think they're great places to touch. Only thing about California I avoid is it's California, so you got the tenants' rights and all that. So
see, when Lucas was getting into the Smokies, they didn't even know what Airbnb was back then. They were still doing it the old school way. They shut down most of the year, or they'd use them, and then they'd rent them out. You had to bring your own blankets, your own toilet paper. You had to bring your own sheets. It was the old school, man. He came in there started doing Airbnb and started just getting that money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so we
they're
told him,
killing
let's find us a cabin, man. We told him. He said, yeah, there's no more $80,000 cabins, man. The price has gone up. And that was back then he was telling us, but now, man, it's whew.
Yeah, this had to be like what 4 or 5 years ago. Because I mean, we started what 17 or 16, 17 in that area, bro. So you already know these last 2 years of real estate just been crazy high. But I do think 2022 should slow down with interest rates going up. But I don't know.
Slow down in what way? Like it's the home sales, you think it'll slow down?
Not really home sales, but I think people no. I would say home sales. And I think it traditionally always slows down when interest rates start creeping up, money gets more expensive. Now I don't know how expensive it's gonna get, but I think it's still a great time to buy. Creatively.
Yeah. Creatively,
yeah. Creative buying, I'm loving it.
And it's so funny because I'll talk to people at work, and they now they know me as the real estate guy. Young and old, they'll ask me questions and stuff. And like, yeah, man, I'd love to buy something, but it's just so expensive right now. And I was like, you know what? It's all relative, and it'll always be relative. I said you could buy a house, a couple of years ago for whatever, 200 grand, and you're gonna get a renter in there for what, like $1,200 a month. Now you're gonna buy a house for more than like 300 grand, but then the rents are like 2,000 a month now. It's just all. He goes, I remember you go way back when I bought my first house, it was like 100 grand, but I could get like 650 a month for rent for it. It's just or $800 a month. It's all relative. If the houses are higher, usually the rents are higher as well. If the houses are dirt cheap, you're not gonna get shit for rent. And so it's just they have a lot of excuses of why not to do something. And I'm like, there's always a way to skin the cat, right? There's always a way to make money in up markets, down markets, middle markets. The thing is, we decided to start doing real estate and Airbnb. And so if it's a race, we're way the hell ahead of everybody else that's going to start today, right? And so it doesn't matter how you start, where you start. It's just you got to start. You're gonna fail like 1,000 times, but you'll get to the point where it just starts growing like crazy, like out of control.
Facts. And I think I don't know, man. You got to start, and I think you made a really good point there. You're talking about the price of the real estate right now compared to the rents. That's been my issue with trying to BRRRR in the DFW. Dude, everybody's flipping, man, because you can't really get a place where you're going to hit the 70% of the ARV and make rent, right? And I think that's where, like, with Dallas threatening to input regulations or whatnot, I went to one of the meetups, and I'm starting to hear, like, I think a lot of these people are Airbnb dependent because their places don't work as long-term rentals. So if Airbnb comes and shuts down, they're like, fuck, we ain't got, we're fucked, So I don't know, man. It's real interesting right now. It's really interesting right now.
It is interesting, man. But real quick shout out. It's funny. We always talk big about the picks and shovels, right? The picks and the shovels on Airbnb market. And what that means is like the back in the gold rush days, because it is like an Airbnb gold rush in a way, because anybody could really get in there, start one, put a nice piece together, take nice pictures, and start making money. It's still that way. The corporations haven't totally taken it over, right? It's hard to take over. It's so fragmented. But the picks and the shovels, we always said, man, if we could figure out ways to make money by selling the miners of the gold, selling them the picks and selling them the shovels to pull the gold out of the ground. Like in the gold rush, who got rich? The miners ended up blowing all their money on whatever, whiskey and prostitutes. And and so the banks, started getting all the money, all the gold ended up in the banks, right? So the banks got rich. The banks started forming the hotels, saloons, people, the tooling industry. I mean, everything got rich from that, except for the people that were digging out of the ground. So we got to find a way to sell them the picks and the shovels. Long story short, my buddy David Law, D Law, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's he's becoming known in this area in the short-term rental market because he goes and he sets up people's short-term rentals for them now.
Mm-hmm.
And he works with the designers, with Sarah and them. And so, but he's like kind of a handyman. He's the Airbnb handyman. I was like, dude, all I have to do is make you a website and then start a couple of ads, placed ads, and you'd get too much work. And he's already to the point where he has a lot of work. He didn't even mean to. We just started directing him towards people's Airbnbs, and he's like, people want someone to set up their Airbnbs for them. They want them to paint an accent wall. They want them to come fix something when it's broken, right? And so he's doing all this, but he has so much work right now. So I don't think he's ready to expand and start making a website and all this stuff. But if anybody's out there that wants to just jump in and be the Airbnb handyman and make you a website, and man, you'd be killing it. Whatever, Airbnb.
All you need is an Instagram, dude. Websites are dead, bro. Instagram. Just have an Instagram of your work, man, and then just tag your location, tag where you are. That shit's a killer. Yeah. Does he tag his work on Instagram?
He don't do any of that stuff.
Oh, bro, he'd have to hire somebody. Like he'd have so much.
He'd have to hire a team. No, man. Like I said, if he really wanted to grow this, and I'm not sure if he does or not, to make it into a real business, but there is such a demand out there for people to put together these Airbnbs, to go put the furniture together. Like I said, accent walls, design on the wall, whatever. And like you said, the Instagram, that's a hot tip right there, because he can just go and follow every single designer out there.
Yeah.
Because these designers don't want to go into the houses anymore and set them up, right? They just want to design them from afar, remote design. Here you go. This is all the stuff. Going to send it to your house, put it together. And then the hosts or the new host or whatever, like, man, I got time to put all that shit together. Okay, here's my guy. Here's the guy I use. Hit him up. He'll put it all together for you. It's a beautiful thing. So the picks and the shovels, man, there's a lot of money to be made in the picks and the shovels, especially with more and more people getting on Airbnb every day. And I sent our acquaintance through Sarah, actually. We keep, she said she didn't even have an Airbnb account, right? She's the one that's going to set up a place in Arlington. And so she didn't have an Airbnb account. Of course, we're going to send her our link, right? To go, hey, sign up through here. I noticed when you send the Airbnb link, it's like it pops up on their phone. It's really slick, man. Airbnb's got money, but it pops up. Have you sent one lately? Sent the Airbnb link to sign up under you?
Yeah, I have actually.
It's slick, isn't it? It's like a commercial that pops up on their phone, showing people walk through the house and meeting and greeting the host and all this stuff. And like, I was like, man, that's so cool. They're showing, don't be afraid, and you've seen the commercials on TV. Don't be afraid of meeting, or hosting your home to other people out there. It's gonna be okay. You might make friends for life and all that stuff. I love that. And there's gonna be a lot more hosts in the future, a lot more hosts. So if you can find a way to sell some picks and shovels to all these brand new hosts out there, you'd be a millionaire.
Facts. That's a fact, man. That is a fact. Yeah, that's a fact, dude. That the picks and shovels is where that even with management, the co-hosting management. I'm actually taking on one management unit right now for a friend. He knew, like you said, he knows me as the Airbnb short-term rental guy, and I'm actually taking on one. I'm going to take over his property. He basically, his dad doesn't have it anymore, and he's giving it. He's like, I don't want to do nothing with it. So I was like, I know you do it, so I'm going to manage that one. That's one of the few I'll manage. But yeah, it's so many picks and shovels you can do around this industry, man. Even doing consultation calls. It's easy to do. It's very easy to do. You can create a bunch of little small gems around it for real, especially right now, especially if you've been in the game 4 or 5 years, you have extensive knowledge, how to grow your business, the business side. I like more or less the stuff I like talking about is like the business structure of it. Should you arbitrage? Should you buy? Depending on where you are, you know what I mean? I start talking about stuff like that. So, and it really helps people. So yeah, definitely a lot of picks and shovels.
Exactly. Federico quits his job in 1 week, man. He's done.
Let's go. Let's go. I mean, for real. What's his last day?
Next Friday, I believe.
On the
not
31st?
This Friday. Yeah, not this Friday, but the next Friday. Yeah, he's done.
Oh snap! On New Year's Eve or New Year's Day? Yeah, New Year's Eve. Damn, he's walking into 2022. That's hanging. Let's go.
I don't know how much work he'll get done on day one after partying his ass off from leaving his job plus New Year's Eve. He might...
Yeah, and I looked at Fetty's Instagram, man. Fetty looks like the party, man.
Man, like I said, he's been over 50, 60 countries, man. He's been all over the world.
That
Been
dude's
up,
party, man. It's like, damn. But yeah, but I'm happy for him, man. It really gives you so much time, clarity. What I tell people is when you're about to leave that 9 to 5, just one thing I'm happy when I left the 9 to 5 this time, first I was laid off. I just had the luxury of being able to take off 7 months and work on the business. But one I would tell you is just be prepared, have your routine. What are you going to do? Like if you look behind me, I had my weekly goals, what I'm going to do every week. And you have that in front of you, dude, you can't be stopped, dude. You already have everything that you need to do. So, don't take off and start working in the business full time because you just find yourself self-employed. Yeah, don't do that. Don't find yourself self-employed.
So what are some unforeseen, because you've been unemployed, from the corporate world for how many weeks now?
I left the 19th of December, November.
Okay, so a month already, over a month.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so what are some unforeseen hiccups that you didn't even think that you would occur while you're not in the corporate job anymore?
Unforeseen hiccups. Ooh, that's good. Well, this wasn't unforeseen, but insurance. I learned how to finesse the insurance game a little bit with your income. Insurance was one, but I had it already written down. Like, okay, how I'm going to get insurance, and I already had it ready, prepared.
So how did you tackle that one? That's the huge one everybody's worried about when they leave.
Oh, I just went to healthcare.gov, and what I did was, so next year, right now I have insurance, but I'm going to have to get new one next year. What I can do is, with you working your business, you can pay yourself a salary, but you can pay yourself a significantly lower salary, not only to get loans, but also to have reasonable and affordable insurance. So that was one thing I did with insurance. Another thing is loans. I haven't got to that portion yet, but I will be in 6 months. So in 6 months, I'm going to be like, okay, can I get this loan based on my DTI or whatever, DSCR, however I want to do it, or do I need to flip this property? So that's one that a hurdle I'm going to have to get over, but I'm pretty confident in it. I wrote down a bunch of stuff, so I'm pretty confident we'll be able to get through that hurdle.
Cool. Insurance and loans. Yeah, those are the two big ones, man, that everybody talks about. How much I'm going to pay for insurance a month, and how the hell am I going to get a loan to buy a house?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. When are you quitting, man?
I want to quit before my birthday next year, September 28th. So I want to quit before then. I just got to get all my ducks in a row.
September 28th. Yeah, you can do it. That's 9 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why so long, man?
That's some people just ask me, and originally,
First off, this is the better question. This is the question I always ask people. Do you like your job, and do you want to quit? That's the better question.
My job is tolerable, but the thing is, it takes away time from what I could do for the business. That's the only part. I used to hate my job when we had like the biggest asshole manager in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got rid of that biggest asshole manager, which it's funny. It's funny because like they moved him to another spot, whatever. He was running the place like shit. He was just an asshole to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Bird dog and he was yeah. Anyways, but that asshole manager motivated me to really take real estate seriously, because I wanted to get the fuck out of there, right? And started getting into the Airbnb again, and starting to get the Airbnbs going, and all. I mean, it really pushed me in that direction to get the fuck out of my job, because I was miserable there. And then he left, and they moved him somewhere else, and we got whatever managers that don't bother us at all, whatever. And it's just, so it's like such a peaceful workplace now. It is better, but I still don't like waking up at 4 a.m. and going to work. I don't like that. And and I don't like the fact that I could be doing so much for the business in those hours, those early hours.
That's a question then. Okay. Does your job is your job making you lose money right now?
I think so, yeah.
So now your job makes you lose time and money.
Mhm.
It's time to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I looked at. I analyzed that. I'm like, when I was working from home, it was saving me money. When I had to go back to the office, it started costing me money and time. And I was like, I got to go.
Here's the thing too, because
Mm-hmm.
like I've been there with, I've been there since 1997, man.
Mm-hmm.
And my particular part, I've been there since 2000. But I'm just in an area, people just, you get to work and they complain all day long, man. They complain, the company this, company that, they owe me this, they owe me that. Just, I mean, it kind of drains your energy, to be around with people that nothing's their fault, right?
Yep.
Everything's the company's fault, everything's the government's fault, everything's this, everything's that. Where I know I should be rolling with entrepreneurs that are like, no, man, it's anything goes wrong, it's your fault, it's our fault. Take
Mm-hmm.
responsibility for your life and then
Right.
move forward. You hang around with all these people that are just, oh, it's this person, this person, this person, this, the it's just like, oh, fuck, it drains me, man, to be around that energy all day.
Man, I'll say I didn't. We had one person I was working with that was like that, but the other people were pretty I actually worked with a lot of entrepreneurial minded people. Actually, that was one cool blessing about being an engineer. Because a lot of engineers, they jump into real estate after they quit their shit and jump into real estate. But man, I would say to turn that shit off. Oh man, I don't know. I'm really introverted, so I can turn a lot of shit off. I'll just put on some headphones and just do my shit. So it was easy for me because I knew what I was focused on. And plus, another thing, I really didn't. It's good that you tell people what you do because then it brings certain things to you. But that's one thing that I didn't do. I didn't really tell. People started knowing once I was starting to leave. People started knowing, oh, you do real estate. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, that's one thing. That turned. Yeah, you got to tune that shit out. I learned that quick. You got to tune that shit out.
So you didn't hate your job?
I didn't hate it. It just was taking. I'll say this: I love the people I worked with, and I love my team, which will keep you on a job forever. Because people don't stay for jobs for money. They stay for good management. I had really good management, so that's what made me stay. And then when I went to the hospital and I looked at my time, and I'm just like, like right now, I just had my daughter was born. Right, my daughter was born on Monday. Didn't want to be stressing about, oh, when do I have to go back to work? And I have a little girl at home. I can enjoy her. I can have her in my arms. I ain't got to think about waking up Monday morning and I got to go to work or some crap like that. No, man, I can enjoy my kids during Christmas break. They have 2 weeks out. I can kick it with them. I don't have to, Monday, this is one thing that did come up and it made me think of you. You said about leaving my 9 to 5. You start to realize how much of your time is based around your kids' schooling. Because they're still technically on the 9 to 5 with their school. And that's what I remember a long time ago. You were talking about, man, I like to just travel with my kids and have them learning abroad. That really hit me once I'm now off. Now I'm like, oh man, we can go this. And we're like, shoot, Malachi has school tomorrow.
Right. Yeah.
That is one that answers your question right there.
I was gonna ask you about that too. I didn't even write it on my list, but I was gonna ask you about because me and you have both talked about homeschooling before,
Yeah.
And I guess y'all decided not to go that route.
Yeah, because Mahogany is also an entrepreneur. She has her own business as well, and it's one of those things where that has to be a full blown commitment. I'm more or less I'm on the side of, as long as I can spend time with my kids, I'm cool with that. As long as I have the option to give them the time, I'm cool with that. So I'm not really tripping too hard about, the homeschooling thing, but it has came across my mind ever since I realized, like, man, dude, a lot of our time of what we got to do and what we can do is dependent upon the kids, especially once they hit school age. Hell, they miss school, it calls CPS on your ass. Like, I'm serious. You have a court case, man. It's crazy,
Yeah. Now no, Mahogany, did she leave her job yet or not yet?
She will be
after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you think y'all will have this conversation again in a couple of years? Hey, we're both not, we can dedicate more time to teaching at home and doing that route.
Possibly. because it's also, I think you kind of have to have a passion for teaching. We have a friend, our marriage mentors, they actually homeschool their kids, but the mom has a passion for teaching, right? So we would look at it. I think we would re-examine it, especially with, the school starts taking up your time. You're like, oh, dang, you know what I mean? So, so yeah, it's something we definitely got to look into. We'll probably look into. How about you?
Here's with us, with Lucy, because we live walking distance to the school. Like there's a school right here in the middle, and then the neighborhood around us, and we're part of the houses that's around it. So it's the center point of the neighborhood, and it's the elementary up into I don't know, 4th, 5th grade, whatever. It's like two sections of the school, and every time we go, because we go to the playground there, we walk over there. She's just, ever since she could, speak, she's like, that's my school. That's my school. I can't, I'm going to learn this and that, and my teachers. And she just, oh my gosh, she's just so psyched about going there, and I'm like, and our goal was to do homeschool. And so, we've had that talk with Lupita, and then we're just like, man, you know what? She's, I guess maybe she's that type of personality. She just really, and she's real social. Every time we go, they play with other kids. She just makes some friends right away. She's like their best friends that same day, And I'm like, we'd be stripping her of that. I that's what I was thinking, man. I was saying maybe it works great for, maybe introverted kids. They'd love it and everything. But she's the social butterfly, man. She's gonna have like 1,000 friends and all this stuff. And I was like, she wants to go to that school so bad. I mean, it would suck to kind of take that away from her. Maybe if we didn't live so close to a school and she never saw it every day, it might be different. Because every time we drive home, we pass by, that's my school, that's my school. So she's so hyped to go there. And so I'm like, man, we should let her do that. And then
little girls steal your heart, man.
They do.
Little girls, man, they make you do what you want to do. They control you, man. You're like, I don't want to strip you for that. I know what you mean, dude.
But maybe waking her up at 5 a.m. every morning, she might get tired of that. Maybe we'll switch to homeschool in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, See, yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. Do you want to do that? Because man, like the year before this, when Malachi was just going to the babysitters, if I didn't work my job then, we'd have a fuckload of freedom. Now it's like, that freedom is very dependent upon that upon the schooling system. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
And it's funny because at my job, people hardly, they work until their 70s and 80s at my job. And they never leave. They don't want to leave, or they're scared to leave, or this and that. They have all these excuses. Oh, insurance, Social Security, or this. And I talk to my cousin about this all the time. And I'm like, dude, the reason it's so hard to leave is we've been taught this is the life, since we're, for years. And he's like, yeah, we've been there 20 something years. Yeah, for 20 something years, we've been taught this is how you're supposed to live, work 8 hours a day, get, a couple weeks of vacation. This is how you're supposed to live, right?
Yeah.
And the job's going to take care of you. I was like, no, we've been taught this lifestyle since kindergarten. This ain't no, we just started learning this after college. We've been taught this lifestyle, 8-hour shifts every day, weekends off, since we were in kindergarten. They institutionalize us from day one, not from when we get our first job. We've been institutionalized all our life. That's why people can't leave these jobs. They might hate this job with a passion, whatever. They can't leave because there's nothing. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? They're so scared of life without that structure that we've been taught since we were little, right?
Dude, think about it, man. Schooling is like a pipeline to the prison complex, if you think about it. They give you a meal. You go there every morning. You wake your ass up. You go get a meal. They teach you blah, blah, blah. Well, not teach you. What's the word I want to use? They
brainwash you.
Brainwash you for 6 hours a day. I'm serious. 6 to 8 hours. They give you a meal. You go socialize. You get socialization time. Brainwash you again. You go home. They do that for 12 years of your life. And then they tell you, go to college, do the same thing over, just in a stricter fashion.
But get into debt this
You
time.
pay it, get into debt this time, and then you go out to the real world. So yeah, you've been trained since you were a kid to do this.
This is how
And
you're
then when
supposed to live.
yeah, that college dropout, he's looked at as crazy, but that college dropout might have started investing in real estate when he was 18.
Mm.
You know, so I'm all for education, but make sure it's worthwhile. But yeah, that's something definitely deep to think about.
Mm.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is funny, we get we're all over the place in this show, but like, for example, my daughter, we'll go to the dentist and she says, that's what I want to be. I want to be a dentist. I want to be a dentist. I love that. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, great. You can do that. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. And then she'll see another job. She wants to be that. And one day we were outside and they're driving past in the trash trucks. And then now the garbage trucks has that thing that comes out and grabs your trash cans and dumps them in. They don't even get out of the garbage trucks anymore. She goes,
Yeah.
I want to be a garbage lady. I want to be a garbage lady. I said, that's cool. I said, but what did I always tell you? As long as you're buying and selling houses, you can do whatever you want. And I tell that to my cousin. It's like, and we talk about this stuff. I was like, I tell her that, man. As long as you're buying houses and renting them and selling them, you can do whatever you want in your life. But that's where you're gonna make your money, in investments.
Yeah, for sure, man. Teach your kids financial literacy. I teach him now. That's why I write all this shit so he'll read it. He's real big on reading. I write everything down that I'm doing so he'll understand it. You got to teach him young, man. Especially like with, you know what I'm saying? You get brainwashed in that school with education. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, you're going to change some lives doing that. But just, certain things, they just don't put you at where you want to be. And plus, the school system doesn't guide them. They don't teach them how to do taxes. They don't teach them about opening business. They teach them to go work for some damn body.
Mhm.
But I like that your daughter points out things that she sees and she understands it. Like, I want to be that. I want to be that. You know what I mean? It keeps her mind open, bro. Keeps her mind open.
Yeah. And then one thing I was talking about with my cousin, I was like, man, my brother, for example, he worked sales. He made good money in sales, right? He loved it.
Yeah.
He loved he was selling like construction, stuff for construction sites, stuff like that. So he'd travel in his work truck all day long and go to these different spots, sometimes far away, close by, whatever, and just meet people and sell things, right? And he loved it. He loved being on the road by himself. That was like he loved it. And then he just thought, okay, when I reach a certain age, I got to, they're offering me a management job. I guess I got to take it. It's just like this. We're pre-programmed. Okay, I guess I got to climb this corporate ladder that they set in front of me. I got to go, even though I never want to be a manager, I guess I got to take it because it's, I have to, whatever. It's more money, this and that. He was fucking miserable. He was miserable. He was there for a few years doing that, babysitting people and this and that. And he was miserable. And then, an opportunity came where he could do his old job again at a different place and get paid similar money or maybe even more. And he went back to that and he's happy as fuck. And I'm like, that's what it's about, man. It's not about you have to get the most highest paying job that you fucking can and be miserable at it, right? You can work a job that you like, be happy, and let your investments carry you. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's it. It's not about, you don't have to chase that management job that you fucking hate. But anyway,
I'm telling you, man, there's people that work 6-figure jobs, drive Mercedes to a job that they hate. They work their ass up to make 6 figures on it. I'm like,
they're in their third divorce already, and the kids hate them and all that shit. Right?
the kids hate them. For real, man. I'm like, man, money ain't worth that much to me. I'd rather have time. Man. Give me enough money to where my time is, I have the time to do what I want. No, one good thing about, like, once you learn yourself, learn who you are as a person, that's the most thing you can ever have. Because once you learn who you are, you learn how to set up your lifestyle. Like the whole traveling thing. I love to travel. I set up a lifestyle so I can travel for free, like you with the airline. You know your lifestyle. So you set your lifestyle up so you can travel and do what you want to do, We love real estate, but it's just a tool that we use to get our freedom.
Yeah. So what's your big goals next year?
Next year, like I said, 2 BRRRRs, 12 wholesale deals, 7 figures in assets, 5K subscribers on Live Let Thrive, and I want to read 12 books as well.
Okay. Cool, man. and we're buying an apartment complex.
Let's do it, man. I think y'all can do it, dude. You got the resources to do it. You know the short-term rental side. You know how to manage, and then you get people in there.
Simple, man. You make things sound so simple.
You got to. You got to make it sound simple.
Simple but hard. Well, it's been a good app, man. We're going at it for almost 2 hours, so it's great. Doing a me and you app because we always got so much shit to talk, and we keep it real. It's fun. 189 episodes, man. It's crazy.
We hitting at least how many new episodes did we do this year? At least 70, right? More than that?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, it's 52 weeks in a year. We didn't do 70.
Maybe we didn't. We did a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We did 2 weeks.
We did twice. Yeah. So my thing is to everybody, the listeners, man, write your goals down. You might not accomplish them, but they'll be there. You write them down, put them somewhere where you see them every day, and go crush it, man. Go crush your 2022. I hope wish everyone a prosperous. I hope I said
prosperous.
That right. Prosperous 2022 and a great 2021. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Y'all go crush it. Thank y'all for continuing to listen to LL2.
Cheers. Keep kicking ass.
Yes, sir.
LLT out.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.